Hey, we're cooking with gas here. On the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakkenaf van Jan.
Nebbig.
Ver poepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertutst.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You're what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Here we go. Episode 76 of American Jew coming at ya.
Straight from the diaspora.
We are doing it. I'm excited. Excited to be here. There's good news and bad news.
Oh my gosh, what? Good news and bad news.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, with all of the talk about, we don't do a lot of politics, American politics on here, but we finally got a vice presidential pick that is a friend to the Jews.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good. I mean, I don't know if it's finally. I think we've had many that are friends of the Jews. But this one is particularly a Jew lover. She's married to a Jewish person.
Yes, she smashed a glass at her wedding. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And, besides her ties to Judaism, just the fact that she is the first black and the first Asian American to be on a major party ticket for the vice president, it's great to have more minorities rising to power, and I think that's fantastic, and it's great to have a friend of the Jewish people, and, I'm a big voter this coming election for Biden and Harris, and we got to get the Trumpster out of here. The guy's ridiculous. He's inflaming hatred and anti-Semitism. Speaking of Trump, one of a supporter of Trump's is possibly going to become a member of Congress. Her name
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes, thank you. And she is a supporter of QAnon, this conspiracy theory that's vastly ridiculous, but it has very anti-Semitic ties. She herself is a supporter of this anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that George Soros is a Nazi or a Nazi collaborator, neither of which is true. It's very sad that they chose to take down this man who did have to suffer the Nazis' wrath while growing up in Hungary, and he's done so many great things, giving charity and money to different causes as a philanthropist. He's been outstanding, and how the right wants to take him down because of the money he's given to, democratic causes is just ridiculous. And her spreading these anti-Semitic theories is just crazy, and the fact that she's so close to becoming a member of Congress and the American people are voting for her, like, we have to stop her. We have to stop this from happening. I mean, this whole QAnon stuff is just ridiculous. It's just crazy that someone would even believe that, and the fact that it has anti-Semitic roots is just, horrible. George Soros, just to be on record, is not a Nazi, has never been a Nazi, and will never be a Nazi. It really kind of sucks because, there's this big, swell in anti-Semitism lately. And there is one of these huge anti-Semitic conspiracies, one of these huge anti-Semitic beliefs. Perhaps it started with the Elders of Zion, which we've discussed previously, that there is this Jewish cabal that is running the world, that is, a focal point in the whole QAnon thing, that there's a deep state government that's running the world. I guess George Soros is helping fund these people that are satanic, pedophile, lizard creature cannibals, that Trump is the only one who could take down. It's this weird thing that, like, Trump has become like a Jesus figure, and that in 2016 the U.S. Army recruited Trump to run for president so he could take down these democratic pedophile Satanists, and he's the only one that could do it. Only he could save us from them.
He is the falsest of prophets that there has ever been.
No, and, he has retweeted stuff from QAnon followers and supporters. He's kind of fueling the fire a little bit because, he loves it. Trump is their savior. Trump rose to political status through these conspiracy theories, such as Obama isn't really an American citizen. So he eats them up. He loves conspiracy theories, especially ones that put him as the savior role. He's the hero. He kind of really is Jesus, because isn't that what Jesus did? Jesus saved the Christians from the Jews, and now Trump Jesus is going to save everybody else from, this deep state that is being sponsored by George Soros and the cabal of Jewish people that are running the world. And, it sucks because many Jewish people are successful. We're successful people. So, all these anti-Semites are going to hate Jews and say, oh, the Jews are the problem. The Jews are running the world. I mean, this has been like a theme in life where people want to hate on the Jews because we're successful. Hey, maybe you should stop staying at home and playing with your sheets and get a fucking job.
Seriously.
And then you could become successful. Like, don't hate on people because they're successful. There doesn't have to be some evil, sinister plot involved with people's success.
I don't care what kind of sheets you're wearing, but if you're putting these conspiracy theories on Twitter, I'm really concerned about the thread count.
For sure. And Twitter has taken down a lot of them. Facebook has taken down a lot of them. And hopefully they got to, continue to be taken down.
I mean, if there is any Jewish people that are controlling the media, it's got to be Zuckerberg, who is helping to control what narratives we get to see on Facebook.
That is absolutely true. It was good that Facebook updated its anti-Semitism policy. He is a Jewish person, but that being said, Facebook is rampant with hate groups. Like we talked about last week, Facebook even suggests to people to join different hate groups. The same thing has happened with QAnon, that after Facebook, millions of people became members of the group, opposed to it just being on the fringe of basically white supremacist chat rooms and stuff like that. And Facebook helped take it a bit mainstream, even though people are saying it's not completely mainstream yet. But when there's a possibility of a member becoming a congresswoman, I think it's pretty mainstream.
Like we said last week, I think it's good that Facebook is taking these steps, but I am concerned as to whether or not they actually are taking them, or if they're just saying they're taking them. It's one thing to come out and put out a press release saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this," but are they? Are they doing it? That's, I think, been the issue. They came out on Tuesday and updated its hate speech policy, but I wonder how much action they're actually taking. Or they're to say that you're taking action is one thing. The intentions are good, but who knows? Well,
they say they've taken down tons and tons of posts. They're making the efforts now. Of course, they had to, get threatened by lots of advertisers.
What's really interesting to me is that so many of these hate groups, they're kind of savvy in terms of how they deal with some of their online content, and they have figured out how some of their posts get taken down and flagged for hate speech, and they're very proactive in letting their members know, hey, don't report this stuff. We want to keep this stuff up. And it's really evil. I mean, that is evil to be like, listen, we want to keep saying this hateful stuff. Let's help us keep doing that. Giving their members tools on how to avoid being flagged for some of the hate speech.
No, you're right. There should be no safe space for Jew hate. People want to talk about freedom of speech, but take your Jew hatred someplace else. It's insane that this dumb movement that started on white supremacist chat rooms is now millions of people are buying it, and they have these supporters that think it's like a religion, basically. It's like their new religion.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about our religion, in Hungary, a Jewish group has expelled a rabbi because they claim that his views are more along the lines with Israel's enemies and the Jewish enemies than the Jews.
Huh.
After he has said Israel took all the benefits and most of the compensation from Germany for the death and suffering of our relatives. The chaos that Israel has been causing since 1948 is the reason for most, if not all, attacks on Jews in the diaspora. The money spent on security until recently was because we suffer the consequences. We are the soft targets. Herzl's mission failed because it didn't stop the Holocaust, but it will soon lead to a new one.
Oy.
Well, there are some truths in this, I think. I think a lot of the chaos that Israel has caused is the reason for a lot of the attacks on Jews. I mean, that's something we've discussed and something we've agreed on. Of course, this rabbi Finale, he has apologized for his remarks. He's still been kicked out of being the rabbi of the synagogue, Rabbi Gabor Finale. But he has apologized. There is some truth to what he's saying. And, he said something in an interview a couple of years ago, which he said, the state of Israel lives and thrives thanks to God. I wholeheartedly support his existence. Okay. But he does not consider it a pure virgin. And I think I agree with the same thing. I mean, I don't believe that it thrives thanks to God. I think that I support its existence. Israel should exist. but it's not an innocent in what's going on with the Palestinian people.
For sure. I think it's such a fine line that we have to walk as Jews sometimes. Are we for our people, or are we about these lines drawn in the sand? And it's disappointing that there are people that are in our corner that are that we're fighting amongst ourselves over the semantics of some of this stuff, and that even people that are willing to speak up about some of the injustices that they see, even when it's Israel creating them, that they have to backpedal like that. That they're so shunned by the community. I feel like some of these issues are complicated, and there are going to be disagreements, and it is hard to have a discussion about where you move forward from those ideas if you're not willing to sit down and talk about them. I don't know if I agree with everything that he says, but I think it's important to have these discussions. That's how you start to figure out what the other side believes and how they believe it. And, you have to come to some sort of understanding of, like they always say, there's three sides to the story. There's my side, your side, and then there's the truth. There has to be a discussion of what both sides believe before you can start to look and see what are the actual issues. How when we talked a few weeks ago to Iman al-Husseini, who's Palestinian, and she was talking about her marriage to Jess, who's Jewish. I found it really interesting, the fact that they talked about how when they argue with each other over Israeli and Palestinian politics, they have to qualify where their source is from. They have to back up their statements and their opinions with sources that they have found and researched on their own. And they have discussions about it. They don't, they're married. So it's like, it's not just an agree to disagree kind of conversation.
No, absolutely. You have to be open to listening to the other side and to hearing the other side. That is a sign of intelligence. And if you're so stuck on your ideas and your beliefs that you can't even be open to hearing somebody else's, then that's never going to go the right way. And, speaking of this, I think the problem is also, there's too much talk about, the past. Who cares? I'm over it. The past sucked. Israel fucked up. Arabs fucked up. Everybody fucked up. But we don't want to repeat the past. We don't want to keep having the same cycle over and over again. We want a better future. So instead of saying, we were indigenous, they were indigenous, it was our land, here's our proof, it was their land, here's the proof. Here's the truth. In 1948, when Israel became a state, they took some of the land from the Palestinians in not a kosher way. And that's just the truth. And now we have to move on from that, and we just have to figure out a way how we could live in peace with each other and have a better future. Because as a Jewish person, I think that is the biggest mitzvah we could do. And I think that is the best example to the rest of the world of who Jewish people are.
We've talked about this a lot, about how the politics of what's happening in Israel is fueling a lot of the anti-Semitism that's been coming up in the world. I feel like the fact that...
No, absolutely. That's why I agree with what this rabbi said, because that aspect is true. I mean, the stuff about we're going to make another Holocaust, okay, I mean, that might be taken a little far. But as we can see, anti-Semitism is at an all-time high, and in many places it has nothing to do with anything other than Israel.
It's disappointing that Israeli politics and Jewish politics are so intertwined, that the religious aspects of being Jewish are interconnected with the Jewish roots of being Israeli, and neither side seems to be willing to give up those close ties. They both cry those talking points from either side. Israelis are saying that they have to have a Jewish homeland and we have to protect the Jews. And the rest of the world is saying, well, look at all these Jews just, hoarding all this land for themselves. It seems to be... Yeah,
no wonder Jews have the stereotype of being greedy.
Well, I'm just saying, there is some truth to both sides of it. And I think that until either side is willing to concede that the other side has some legitimate points, there isn't going to be really a chance for peace. You can't just be yelling at people about what you believe without, understanding that people on the other side who have differing opinions also have some facts to back up their statements.
It just sucks because, there are horrible extremists, especially, on the Arab side. Hamas is horrible. There's Hezbollah. There's all these horrible terrorist groups. And there are people that have done horrible things. But Israel's reaction is like, oh, you guys killed one of us. We're going to kill, all of you. You know, it's just like, you shoot one, we'll shoot 30 of you guys. Oh, you did this to one person, we're going to take out your whole family and everyone that you've ever known in your life. Anyways, you know, when it comes to George Soros, I just want to say one more thing. I would love to work for you in any position that you have. I also want to say to any other Jews that are part of the cabal, I'm here. I'll accept an internship. I'm happy to go party with you on Jeffrey Epstein's island, whatever you like. Of course, I'm only going to party with girls 18 and up, but you do you.
I'll say this, you know, as we wrap up today, I think, you know, if you really do want to figure out how you can control the media, you should probably get a job at the new Jewish Netflix, Chaiflix, which just started. We got a Jewish.
Is it $18 a month?
You know, I don't know what the cost is yet.
It's only Mel Brooks movies.
I would listen if there's a Mel Brooks station that just
or Albert Brooks, only Brooks. It only does Brooks movies.
Yes.
James L. Brooks. It has some Simpsons stuff.
I'm on board. I would pay $18 a month for that.
Well, we'll have to check out Chaiflix. I'll have to check this out.
Let's see. They have over 150 titles on Chaiflix right now. They have movies like Natasha, A Home on the Range, The Jewish Chicken Ranchers of Petaluma, In Search of Israeli Cuisine, Bulgarian Rhapsody.
So far, I'm not interested in any of these movies.
I'm just saying. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It will be $5.99 a month or $65.99 a year.
Okay.
And they
really dropped the ball.
Yeah. Not only that, they have a 14-day free trial. They should have had an 18-day free trial.
Hey, we should be doing the marketing for those people.
Yes, seriously. Haven't they learned anything? I guess they're really trying not to engage in even any of the positive Jewish tropes.
Did you watch the American Pickler movie, the Seth Rogen movie, where it's a very Jewish movie? Plays an old Jewish guy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
It has some funny parts. It's on HBO Max if you want to see some Jewish representation in the media. Check it out.
Finally, we have Jews represented in the media. Well, you know, I think a lot of food for thought in this week's episode. A lot of stuff to process. I think it's. I think we're heading in the right direction, but we definitely are thankful that other people are listening. That we're reaching more Jews out in the world. We hope that
hopefully non-Jews. And if you live in the 14th district in Georgia, get out there and vote for Kevin Van Ostel. He's going against our girl Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we really got to prevent her from being a member of Congress. Check me out on all social media at Jonathan Randall. Check out American Jew Podcast on all social media at American Jew Podcast, except for Twitter, where at American Jew Pod. Email us at AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and you can always find me on the gram at Beatnik Nudnik. Oi! This was fun. See you guys next time.